Alright, welcome back. Today we have another 4.2. This one happens to be in the Trailblazer 2002. Problem is four-wheel drive's not working, I don't think. Happens is you go hit the knob, turn it into all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, and it just keeps flashing. It sounds like it's kicking in, but the light's still flashing. And the service four-wheel drive light comes on the dash. So we're gonna go through and see if we can find anything wrong with it. Alright, here we are. Turn the key on. So what happens? Just keeps flashing. Flashing. Service four-wheel drive lights on even when you start the car. What I am noticing is I can hear it try to shift underneath on the transfer case. Sounds like the T-case motor might be alright. But I hear yeah, you gotta put it in neutral to go to 4 low, just in case you didn't know that. Now it seems to be stuck in 4 low. So it's doing all sorts of stupid shit. We are going to make sure that when we hit the switch that the shift motor is actually kicking on how it sounds. So it sounds like it's kicking on, so kind of sounds kind of rough, but we are going to go up to the front passenger side and check out the locking actuator. So here we are at the front passenger side trying to figure out the four-wheel drive issue. A couple things that stood right out to me was how dirty it was. There's an oil leak right above the oil filter, dripping right down onto my wiring, and somebody's been in here before, so this wiring is all jacked. So I'm gonna have to clean it up, see what's bad, and then after I determine if this is even bad or not, I already know that that whole thing has to come off, because you can grab it and that bearing, there's a gear right in here, I believe, behind this plate, and that fucker is probably broke, because it's pretty much gone. So that's pretty much how you trace down the problem. Either start front to back or back to front, and when you find something broke, you know that's the problem. Alright, so step one is obviously take the tire off. Since you're going to unhook some electrical things, you want to make sure your battery's unhooked before you do any of the rewire. First step is to take the tire off, axle nut. I happen to get mine off with a 36. Worked just fine. Next step is I'm going to take the upper ball joint off, and that way everything falls forward. You get this axle shaft out. Make sure you have all your ABS stuff unplugged. At least your brake line undid from the back of your spindle. That way when it falls down, it don't yank on it. Alright, so here we are with this end out. Now some people will tell you to take the other end out first, but definitely take this end out because it's easier to find, the angle that you need to pop it out. And then when you pop this side out right here, it's going to come out, the whole thing will just come out easier. So definitely take this side out. Now when you take your brake line off, I just pry this open so that pops out instead of messing with them 2 bolts. There's 2 bolts here that you can take off. Besides that, it's pretty easy. Haven't ran into anything complicated. Besides, I did have to end up taking 1 more bolt off to give me just a little bit more room. I'm going to go back there with a pry bar or a hammer or yank on it, whatever I got to do to get it to pop out. Has a little, I believe it has a little locking ring that locks it in there, so it's a pain in the ass to get out, but it'll come out. Alright, here we are with the CV shaft out. This little pin clamp right here is the reason why you gotta beat it out. So that's what holds it in there. But my CV axle is pretty much shot. Pieces coming out with it. So I'm gonna have to dig deeper. Keep going. Some things loose in here. So I'm gonna have to take these bolts off and see what it looks like inside of there. Alright, here we are. Not too bad of a job. They're all 15mm bolts all the way around. Sensors 2 8mm. So here on mine, got some good news and bad news. But good news is I know for sure the 2 things that were wrong. Pretty sure I got a bad sensor wiring. At least the plug is bad. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get the sensor and inside of here it's all chunks of metal. Everything just came apart basically. All the way around. There's nothing left. There's still some pieces sitting in here. But luckily this gear that's in here looks pretty solid. It's not broke up or nothing. So basically he's going to buy some new parts and reverse operation, put it back together. See what it gets me. Alright, tires back on. Everything's back on. See if it fixes the problem. Ugh. Alright. Alright, here we are with everything back together. See if we get the same thing. There it goes. That was the problem.